The SEC chair, Paul Atkins, has made a statement that could completely change how crypto is regulated in the United States. He said that very few tokens should actually be classified as securities. This comes right after the Ripple versus SEC lawsuit officially came to an end, a case that has defined a relationship between regulators and crypto for more than 4 years. Now, let's break this down carefully. Paul Atkins, speaking at the SALT Blockchain Symposium in Wyoming, made it very clear. Under his leadership, the SEC will no longer rely heavily on enforcement-first tactics. Instead, the Commission will try to create an environment that embraces innovation. His words were, "There are very few, in my mind, tokens that are securities." This is a sharp contrast to the approach of his predecessor, Gary Gensler, who had often taken the position that most tokens could fall under securities law. Atkins also gave a very simple analogy to explain his point. He said, "I can buy an orange, and I'm not necessarily buying the promise to have somebody harvest it and then send me the dividend." His argument here is that just because you buy a token, that does not automatically mean you are buying into an investment contract. The way the token is packaged, sold, and promoted matters more than the token itself. This perspective challenges the broad enforcement lens we saw earlier under Gensler. Now, let's connect this directly to Ripple and XRP. After more than 4 years of intense litigation, Ripple and the SEC have agreed to dismiss their appeals. The lawsuit is officially over. And almost immediately after that, Atkins set a new tone by saying, "It is a new day." The timing is important. It suggests that the XRP case might have been the final straw for regulators to rethink their position. The SEC's aggressive clampdowns on crypto projects may now be replaced with a more balanced approach that gives space for blockchain technology to evolve while still protecting investors. Another critical detail here is Project Crypto. This is an initiative Atkins himself unveiled, designed to modernize U.S. financial regulations and bring more of America's markets on-chain. He explained that the goal is to allow both crypto asset securities and crypto asset commodities to trade under a single framework. And what is the first step? Implementing recommendations from the President's Digital Asset Markets Working Group. This group recently published a 166-page report calling for regulatory clarity. Atkins even praised President Trump for backing this effort, saying the administration's goal is to make the United States the crypto capital of the world. This is not just rhetoric. It signals a bigger vision. The U.S. does not want to fall behind other countries in the race to shape the global digital economy. By creating a unified and clear regulatory structure, the U.S. is preparing the ground for blockchain technology to be integrated at scale, something that crypto developers and investors have been demanding for years. But here's where we need to be critical. While Atkins' statement is refreshing for the industry, we should not ignore the fact that the SEC's role is still one of oversight. Saying very few tokens or securities sounds reassuring, but the question remains, which tokens fall into that minority? Will the SEC issue clear lists or criteria, or will it remain case by case as we saw with XRP? Without that clarity, uncertainty still exists, even if the tone is softer. Another angle worth considering is how this shift impacts global competition. If the U.S. becomes friendlier to crypto projects, it could pull investment and innovation away from other regions that have stricter rules. On the other hand, if the framework is not well defined, we could see the same cycle of confusion and lawsuits play out again in the future. Still, for now, the digital asset industry is embracing Atkins' stance. Developers see this as a signal that the heavy hand of enforcement is loosening. Investors view it as a sign that uncertainty around token classification may soon shrink. And most importantly, the end of the Ripple lawsuit has created momentum for broader reforms. In summary, the key points are clear. Paul Atkins has said very few tokens should be treated as securities. He used a simple orange analogy to illustrate why the way tokens are sold matters more than the tokens themselves. The SEC is launching Project Crypto, aiming for a unified regulatory framework. And with support from the president and a new policy direction, the U.S. could be positioning itself as a global leader in digital assets. The big question now is whether this vision will turn into consistent action, or if it will remain a promising statement without concrete follow-through.